Hello, friends, and welcome back to another Needlessly Nostalgic. I'm one of your hosts, Tyler Nichols, with my other host, Mr. Lance Velchek. Lance, do you remember when you and I both went and saw Evil Dead Rise on opening night so that we could then talk about it on the Arrow in the Head Show channel?
I do. I remember very clearly because this was a weird reaction, and it was almost like a loss of innocence. You know, when you finally like pay taxes or go through like a death, that sort of adulthood milestone. For some odd reason, Evil Dead Rise happens to be one of those in terms of storytelling.
There's one other film that I remember having the same feeling of, like the same feeling during. Actually, I guess there's two other. Halloween Ends kind of falls into this as well. But there's another film that connects with our Evil Dead franchise. 2007, Spider-Man 3. I remember being in the theater and like it breaking my heart. And because I had an expectation for what that series was, for what the path they seemed to be going down. And I had expectations for the characters that were in that film. And just like Spider-Man 3, I think Evil Dead Rise kind of, threw the stuff that I like about the series out the window, and it was very hard to then, I don't know, come to grips with it, because I don't think Evil Dead Rise is a bad possession movie. I think it's a bad Evil Dead movie. Yes. Let's get into it, because I have a feeling we're going to have a lot to say. Evil Dead Rise released in 2023. This was written and directed by Lee Cronin. This was starring Lily Sullivan, Alyssa Sutherland, Gabrielle Eccles, Morgan Davies, and Nell Fisher, with a nice little cameo via voice recording by Bruce Campbell. So this film, this is, I guess one of the things that I want to bring up first before we, start going through the movie. This has the same cinematographer and production designer as several episodes of Ash vs. Evil Dead. And I think you can tell. I think there's a visual parody between the two.
So it does have a similar vibe in terms of just sort of like some sort of look. But for some reason, it fails here. I hate how this movie looks. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just the location, the script, because a lot of Ash vs. Evil Dead is outside, different sort of locations, inside marts, inside restaurants, inside houses. So I think the variety does help. But I really hate that the inside of this high rise has the same lighting and style as inside of a cabin. I fucking think that is so lame and so boring and so uninspired. Then stay in the cabin. I hate to say it, but if you're going to be in a high rise, it needs to look clean. I think so. I think that it would add a good juxtaposition to like a blood and guts and puke and shit. This should have looked like Poltergeist 3. Let's go to Hancock, right off Mission Avenue. That's had a look of a high rise. This looks like, I don't know, a crack house, but it's dim lit and everything's gray. It's just like, but go to a cabin. Like, the fuck's the point of the switch off?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And I also need to make sure to get it out there right at the front that usually when we've been doing this Evil Dead franchise chat, we've had a bunch of like real fun behind the scenes information, cool stuff like that. And unfortunately, because the other releases have awesome specials and commentary tracks, there is jack shit on the US release for Evil Dead Rise. I own this movie on 4K. There is not a single special feature on it. There is no commentary. Apparently there's a commentary on the UK release, so I don't know why the fuck we did not get that. But it's very disappointing, because then maybe there'd be some inside information that would make me like certain things more about this movie, or make me realize certain Evil Dead aspects that might have, might have not noticed. Because I mean, before listening to the commentary, I would have considered 2013 to be very CGI heavy. Yet from listening to the commentary, I get to find out that it's like, no, not CGI. So I wish that there was more interesting stuff like that to have been able to discover. I watched some, there were some YouTube special features, but they were the like released before the film came out kind of like features, or released week of release kind of thing, where it's really just promotion for the movie. Nothing actually some kind of deep dive into anything. So
nothing concrete.
Yeah, but so we always move through these movies, and the first thing, and I've been dying to ask you about this, the accents in this movie.
So the first time I saw the movie, I thought they were rough. This rewatch, I would say almost unbearable. I talked about how I had issues, but that that Lily Sullivan, I think, did a decent job. And acting wise, I still think she does. Accent wise, I was wrong. It's bad.
Don't look back there.
Have you ever seen one?
Mm-mm.
I swear to God, they found every Australian and Kiwi that couldn't do an American accent, and like, you were in the movie. You know, it's the same as that Key and Peele sketch where there's all the Gremlins 2. It's like, and it's in the movie. This is a fucking thing where they went to the tryouts, they had their audition, and like, you can act, you can emote. Your accent sucks. You're in the movie.
There's the boyfriend at the beginning, I think, is the biggest offender of the entire film. It's really bad. Very much stands out.
Like you were gonna shit a brick out sideways.
And he's so bad, and the people in the beginning are so bad that then it didn't. Some of the other stuff later on didn't bug me. Like, I didn't mind Lily Sullivan. I thought, we'll get into it as we go into the movie, but I loved Alyssa Sutherland in this. She's going to be the one person I praise throughout this whole episode, because I thought she did great, both with her accent and with her, because she also has a certain style. She's doing something. I agree with you, Lance. She's doing something that like it's an accent. Like, it's an accent, but I'm saying she's hiding it the best of anyone. I think she's hiding it the best.
I mean, okay, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say because accent's rough. I mean, poor Nell Fisher, great in Bookworm and a great actress. Acting wise is fine. Honestly, should have just been like an adopted fucking Kiwi or Australian, whatever she is. I hate to mix those up, but I know this is filmed in New Zealand and a lot of the cast is Australian, so I don't know which one she is.
UK, actually.
Well, then I don't know the excuse, because her accent was, I mean, she just had a foreign accent.
Don't know the excuse. That is the excuse. Australians and Kiwis are usually the ones that do good with that, with American accents.
British, though, would be like number 3. And it's just rough. It's just, the whole thing's rough. The whole thing's rough. But I want to talk about the opening because in concept, an idea, and maybe, God forbid, even on script, this was a cool opening. And I think in an alternate universe, if done differently, it could have been. This opening was, outside of one aspect, which we will disagree with, was the red flag. This is when I was nervous. When this ended, I was like, oh, fuck, this is off. Something isn't right here. And it's this entire opening. You
know, the thing that I realized was, so this film pretty much has to tell you that things are scary and dreadful right from the start, versus if this was... Yeah, I would say even 2013, where it's like, when you're establishing the characters, it's like, no, they're not trying to be dreadful. It's just trying to fucking introduce people. So I think the big mistake that this intro makes, there should have been a switch. There is a switch, but it doesn't even really connect with the viewer because of the fact that it's been like, ooh, all eerie sounds and like spookiness leading up to it. So then there's no kind of like, oh, this big moment. If anything, they then need to have it punctuated by the dumb head tear, which I don't dislike the concept, but I dislike the fact that then the girl is running around with her scalp torn off. Like, if you're going to get that, like, just have them die immediately. I don't need someone, you know what I mean? I don't need them going around with their scalp exposed like that. They'd be in shock and dying. And like, you know what I mean? Like, it ruins It ruins my suspension of disbelief, which I don't need in something so basic like that, because there's already going to be so much supernatural elements that I don't need something that is like just basic human anatomy.
It doesn't work because they cut the shot short.
Yeah.
And the lead up is meant to be this big sort of like gross out moment, right? Then she shows up and her hair is actually covering her scalp because I don't know, money? But it doesn't actually look like, when they rip it off, it basically looks like a raw brain. It's not, but it has that look. And then the next time we see her, her hair is covering it. It just looks like she has bloody head. So we're not even going to lead in with the grossness. They drop the scalp. It's still quick. This entire opening is just sort of a series of events of holding back. And like you said, The Evil Dead isn't spending 20 minutes setting up a scary situation. It's more of an intensity, a sort of an increase in suspense. This is playing like a different type of horror movie. It's like a horror movie that kind of wants to be Evil Dead, but it's not committing to it. So it's holding back. It's playing with us for way too fucking long. They also redo the card scene from the first one now with a book.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so not only we don't feel like Evil Dead, but you're going to be aping from a better movie to remind me I'm watching Evil Dead. And then the stupid CGI head, I think it might have been practical with the CGI added onto it, but it looked real stupid. It looked cheap.
It was a cheap head that they did the CGI enhancements to.
I think that a thing that, and we're going to talk about this the entire time, but let's like kind of put it out in the front. The remake, as you perfectly said in our episode before, was Evil Dead meets New French Extreme. That it was this intensity that I'm like, okay, this is going to be sort of the baseline going forward. So when I watch this movie, and it almost feels way more contemporary in its horror, but gorier than normal, but far more constrained than before. I'm in this part where I'm like, then what are we doing? Like, why is Evil Dead now holding back? The show, even as goofy as it was, and did use some CGI, was far more gorier than this movie, which is a serious, gross out Evil Dead movie. That alone kind of bothers me. I mean, of course, I know the show came out before this, but it would set a precedence for what I'd expect. Like, okay, Evil Dead going forward is going to be like over the top gore. And this almost seems cut down. No,
I agree. And even it's like the Fede Alvarez mindset of going practical and not having CGI. Lee Cronin clearly does not have that same sensibility, because there's random CGI to the point where I was like, why? Why is that CGI? In the beginning, there's shots of the book that she's reading, and it's CGI. It's like, why the fuck did you guys not shoot this practically? What kind of laziness? Because again, we talked about how if there's one thing this Evil Dead franchise is known for, it's creativity and the fucking exact opposite of laziness, where it's like, oh, we're going to cut a hole in this cabin floor to be able to get this shot. Meanwhile, it's like, oh, we can't even take the time to film this book because, we'll do it in CGI. We'll do it in post. Don't worry about it. It's like, what? Fuck off.
Evil Dead is a messy, practical franchise born out of creativity and kind of a safe, generic story. It's like taking, Cabin in the Woods and Evil comes out awesome. But they're like, okay, but we're going to make it wacky, crazy, intense, mean, and gross. And so that's the foundation. And you're talking about CGI, talking about the beginning, the girl who grabs the drone, right? The chick's boyfriend. This was the first time, and maybe I've noticed it in our other review on the Head Show, I don't remember. But we talk about how the deadite eyes, whether they be the yellow version from the remake or the whites in Evil Dead 1 and 2 to the kind of in between in Army of Darkness, there is a very specific look. And in this movie, I don't know if it's enhanced or if it's all CGI. I don't know what level, but regardless, computers were used and they look like shit. All the eyes, Ellie, like there are times where her eyes are practical. They are. But I'm saying a lot of times this movie, the eyes are CGI glowed up and glossed, and it looks like shit. Like, even if it looks good, it looks fake. So now we've taken the most important part of a fucking deadite. What kind of separates them from, I would say, zombies in general, demon walkers, is the brow, the eyes, and the style. They fumble the eyes. More than once, it's CGI, and if you're going to CGI the eyes, then we've already lost. We've already lost.
Yeah, the eyes are something where it's like, because of this talk, it's something I definitely paid more attention to, because it's like, yeah, I didn't even realize what I need for a Deadite, and the eyes are a big element of that. And they just, there's something off about that. I think they do enhancements to brighten them, which then just comes across very strange. I don't know. It doesn't work for me.
No, it doesn't look like a Deadite. The girl in the beginning in the cabin scene, I'm sorry, it looks like an infected zombie. Probably something I'd see more out of 28 weeks later. It does not look like a Deadite. Yep. And for the most part, there are some variations that I will say look fine. A big part of my problem here is that these Deadites actually kind of lean a little more towards zombies in terms of look. You know, like going back to Fede Alvarez, I was blown away by how much he understood the Deadite. Even if he tweaked it his own and made it his own, it didn't look like Evil Dead 2. But Yumi agreed, that's a Deadite. Here, I have a lot of conflicting emotions where I'm like, you're telling me it's a Deadite, and maybe a couple mean words will come out of their mouth, but it kind of looks like a zombie. Yeah.
We also only get the 3 Deadites between, it's Ellie and then technically we get the girl at the beginning. But in terms of once the story gets started, it's just Ellie and then the 2 kids. It's like, what the fuck? We need more. I want more. We have all these like apartment people too, which we'll get to, but they fucking just get rid of immediately. But I want to talk about the titles. This my God, bugs me. No.
Because you're alone.
No. Lance, no.
Go
As an editor,
Let's go.
you have to understand where I'm coming from. So what they do with this is they have like the Evil Dead Rise, like it literally comes up out from behind the trees as this girl's going up. The issue is that they have a texture on the fucking the text which matches nothing. It moves independent from what the pan is. It's a fuck up editing wise that never got fixed.
So the texture on what? The actual,
you can see it's
the logo?
On Evil Dead Rise, there's texture. It is the Book of the Dead. You can see like a face in it. It's moving independently from the goddamn words. And it's also like, so you have multiple elements. It doesn't match the camera and it doesn't match the fucking words themselves. It's totally separate despite being an element for the damn text. And it stops where it's just like, this is an editing fuck up. Fuck yourselves.
Okay. The movement in the text itself stopping, I agree, is weird because it should just be moving the entire time.
If it's moving, it should remain moving. It's stopping where it's like, wait a minute. But it was moving independently regardless. So why the fuck does it stop once the text then stops? Dumb. And also it doesn't stop on the dot. It's fucking delayed from when the actual text stops. I also hate it. It's just like, it should have been a smash. I would have liked it. Smash cut. I don't like that rise. Nope. Makes it essentially it's why I hated the title when it was first announced, because it just sounds gimmicky. Which then, it's like, oh, you're rising the title cards. Ooh. So guess what? It's gimmicky.
Listen, I'm going to give you the motion. I think you're right. I like the title card. I think it's unique. I agree with the smash cut. They should have smash cut to something crazy or intense or something weird.
You like that font? I hate that font.
I don't mind it. I feel like I just have less stakes in this. Like,
I have such venom. I don't think I hate. This is probably in my top 10 of hated like credits. I hate it.
Oh my God.
Who likes this?
Yeah, I know. It probably doesn't help that everybody likes it. I think it's clever. It's something different.
Anyone listening to this, you need to let me know if you like this or not. Because I have not seen this praise for this title credit that Lance is. I'm ready to be proven wrong.
When the title thing came up, I was like, oh, the titles are cool, but the scene before it was kind of lame. And that's scary. Everything felt, like I said, sort of softened. This movie feels nerfed. This is a nerfed opening. Like, is it violent? Sure. But kind of fucking tame compared to like Evil Dead, first Evil Dead the show, Evil Dead the remake. I mean, we have said that modern Evil Dead is sort of like the obnoxious gore. So having a quick scalp cut, having the stupid drone hit the face and it looked weird and goofy and the head being bad, I'm like, that ain't a good way to start.
It's like, yeah, if you've never seen a drone before, because then it's like, what is this like murder weapon that is being used? Because that's all this looks like. It should be sent into battle where the only intention is to maim people and like kamikaze into things, because like that thing is running like dual blades, and they're like metal blades, not plastic. Everything about that is just a murder machine.
Yeah, and it was too powerful for what it is. It was stupid. It was stupid. It's stupid using a drone to mimic the shot. It just felt cheap. It felt, and that's what this movie does, and we'll get into it as we go along. But it seems like an Evil Dead film made by an Evil Dead fan, as opposed to somebody who like understands Evil Dead. There's like a surface level understanding that is just sort of off and mimicking the POV of the demon. Like, it's a drone. And then the drone's a weapon. I'm like, this is...
I agree. And it doesn't get much better when we then get, really smacked over the head that, this girl that we're following clearly does not have her life together because she's in a rundown bathroom and she just got a positive pregnancy test. I'm like, why is this? It's like, are you just trying to check stereotypical boxes off? Like, I literally just from this scene already then figured out what her arc was going to be. I'm like, okay, yeah. It's like, yep. Or it's like, okay, cool. Yep. Her whole thing is going to be that she's been running away from she's been being independent. And the big thing is, guess what? You were supposed to be a mother all along.
It's telegraphed from the beginning. I mean, I get they're trying to add some stakes, and honestly, there is some funny moments because she's pregnant, and usually just the demons talking shit.
Ellie waits in hell for you and your unborn bastard baby.
But it does something which, again, I want to mention, because she's in this like real punk, ugly looking room, and I gotta be honest, man, like lean into that or don't, but I feel like it's just a kind of a window dressing, and it doesn't do anything for the story. It just makes everything like kind of dark and muggy. I've said stuff like this before, and you might disagree, but like certain people I would be on for doing an Evil Dead film. Like I know you're gonna hate this, but like I would be okay with Rob Zombie doing an Evil Dead if he wants to do something muddy, gross, and offensive. But I don't think Wes Craven could do a good Evil Dead. And this to me feels like some weird mix of like punk and sort of this lower class thing that doesn't really do anything. It just makes everything dark and moody. Again, they want it to be a cabin, but they put it in the city, but they don't do anything with the city or the high rise. So we just got a bunch of lame people in a fucking apartment. I
had to change the brightness settings on my TV when I was watching this film because I couldn't see what was happening.
Them putting it in the dark is dumb. I'm sorry. It's like, why?
Because it's also, and let's not forget, there's scenes of Evil Dead 2013 that are lit by streaks of light. Like, I was never having an issue of like, what's going on? There were many times in this where I'm like, fuck, what the hell just happened? It's so dark, so fucking dark.
Really ugly color palette. I feel like it doesn't lend itself to, I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense. Like I said, this feels like it should be like out of The Devil's Rejects, but I'm like, why? Why the fuck does this look like that? Like with this weird, dark, haunted. It looks like it looks like. Think about it. It looks like essentially the Tower of Terror in Disney World. It has that same vibe. I'm like, what the? I don't know. The Deadites are meant to be the frightening part. The situation you get put in. So if you put change in your pocket, there's a ghost in the bank. It's a fuck. What? We're doing ghost stories in this creepy apartment building? I don't know.
I have a positive with something related to color. I really like that Ellie is dyeing her hair at the beginning of the story when she's introduced, because then it allows for the rest of the film. She has this like, it's so saturated. It's like her hair just like pops, which I really like, which under any other circumstance, like you wouldn't have hair that bright, especially a mom. You know, there's so many situations where it's like that wouldn't have worked, except the fact that it's like, yep, we see that she's dyeing it. It's the first thing that we see of her. So I enjoyed that because I think it's probably because the fact that I think this is such a dull movie that then a little bit of color, I'm like, yes, give me a little bit of color, even if it's in her fucking hair.
I mean, I'm not going to argue and say I don't like the red hair because I think it gives the Deadite a cool look. I wish they turned up the saturation so it actually glowed instead of just looking muddy. But another thing that I didn't really think about until this rewatch, which is okay. So we got Ellie, we got Beth, we got her 3 kids, right? Last thing at the beginning, the teenagers, and it kind of hit me. It's like, you know what? Evil Dead has never been a teen franchise in terms of that's never the cast. The first one, they're the 20s. Second one, like whatever they say, they're fucking 30s for sure. Army of Darkness, they're all old. The remake, the people in like their 20s, the guy's a teacher at high school. Immediately having kids be sort of like the secondary characters, like, not really leads, but they are quite important to the overall plot. I remember getting upset the first time, and I think I actually got more upset this time because them being young means that they do stupid things, but because they're young and doing stupid things, that's okay story-wise, and I'm annoyed that Evil Dead is using that plot point of like, well, young kids are going to do dumb things. It's like, but they don't put them in the movie. They're teenagers and kids. They're going to make some odd mistakes and it's going to push the plot forward. I'm like, I don't want that. Yeah, okay, I want it in fucking Weird Science when like, yeah, they make a girl that's too hot, they can't fucking do it, they're showering with their clothes on. That's hilarious.
They suck. These kids, I mean, I like Nell Fisher because of Bookworm, and I do think that she's the least egregious in terms of the characters, but also she's the one that opens the fucking door, so maybe still makes really stupid decisions. But also, I would expect that from a whatever 7-year-old, 8-year-old, whatever she's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's a plot point because she's young and dumb. Yeah. But it's like I don't want that in my Evil Dead movie though.
Yeah, it's like I don't really need that, and I get the Sam Raimi, the innocent must suffer kind of thing, which is why I think that the daughter Bridget, I think that's why she dies, is because of following that mindset. Because obviously she's not Danny. Danny's 100% deserving. Danny should have had he should have had an Eric level of death, because this motherfucker deserves everything coming to him and more, because he is a terrible human being.
Bridget's first line in the movie, I believe, to be, "Mom, where's my t-shirt for the not the rally, but the protest?" And I'm like,
protest or something? Yeah.
It's just so Gen Z. I'm like, oh, we're doing this. And she's kind of bitchy. So I'm like, I just don't like her in general. She seems moody, and I think like, fuck off. Right. But then you're right. I wrote this down because it was so important. This entire movie happens because their son Danny wants to be a DJ. Cause of every death in this movie is that he wants to rip a record. I'm like, this is the first movie where I'm like, I don't want any of them to live. The little one, take her out too. She did nothing wrong, but I don't want any survivors, no witnesses. Like, if he wasn't a dorky DJ, they'd all be alive, and that's not a good way to sort of press the action. Like, he needs records, and then he grabs a book, which, let's talk about real quick, was covered in bugs. I don't care if they're off of it. It's like, well, you're really going to bring that thing that could have just have like bug eggs in it? The records make sense. The book doesn't. But the fact that he's even getting records because he wants to fucking have the one headphone on, I'm like, am I supposed to relate to this? I'm supposed to like these kids?
I mean, we talk about like good writing, lazy writing. There's things where some of the stuff that we watch, we're a little more harsh than other things. And I think that this movie in particular, you would think that we would be more willing to, like, I don't know, not give a shit about certain writing issues. But in the writing itself, it's an issue when we know that, like, oh, hey, how are we gonna get the book discovered? How about an earthquake? A random ass earthquake that then shakes the foundation. Any reasonable person would be like, oh, that seems like a reason that would get everyone out of the apartment, out of the high rise. Any reasonable person, it's like, oh, no. They're poor. They don't have anywhere to go. That's the reasoning behind. Or it's like, wait, but there was a fucking earthquake. There's a huge hole. Like, I'm sorry, but no, we're not staying. Like, any reasonable person would not stay there.
They also wouldn't go into a giant hole after an earthquake where everything could collapse. And it's not even like a 4-foot hole where it's like, okay, it's like you could kind of pop in. He goes into a deep enough hole where I'm like, how are you actually getting out? Like, how are you going to get out of that? You're a kid. You're like 4'6". This is a 10-foot hole. Like it just didn't make. And then he goes in and starts exploring. It's just such a lazy way. Like as much as it would have been dumb to have the earthquake hit the parking garage, and then maybe a pillar cracks and the book falls out. That's stupid, but like, okay, it pops in front of you, you might grab it. But the fact that these kids go exploring, it's like, well, then that needs to be the whole movie. Because I don't believe that you are going to go and just fuck around in a hole after an earthquake, a deep hole, and then start, opening. It just doesn't make sense.
You just came up with a much better movie. They unleash the demon, the Deadites, and the down there in the basement. They're down there. Lily and Ellie, or Beth and Ellie, are upstairs, and there's that. Will they reach each other? Do Beth and Ellie even know? Can the kid literally right there? You just discovered a much more intriguing plot than what we get, because what we get is, like you said before, it's they didn't think past. Oh yeah, this is what the other Evil Deads do in a cabin, so we'll just do that, but in a high rise. But instead of shifting stuff and, coming up with interesting things that high rises have, I mean, outside of the elevator, which, yes, they did that. They did the elevator thing, so good on them. But otherwise, they don't take advantage of the setting well in any way. And the earthquake thing pisses me off, both for the CGI element, but also just the lazy writing. It feels so fucking lazy.
They go out of their way, dude, to make it so you can't explore the high rise. They're like, oh, the stairs have collapsed, the elevator doesn't work. You're basically just stuck in your, like, oh. So you wrote in a part like, well, we can't be exploring the high rise. God forbid we're actually, doing a little bit more in the new locations. Like, nope, you're just going to stay in your room or your little condo apartment with different rooms, cabin. The earthquake thing is stupid because it's lazy. And again, them going into a hole right after an earthquake, I don't believe, because they come off as cautious kids. They don't come off as rebellious. Being a DJ is not rebellious. Yeah,
the one is going to protest for social issues. She seems responsible.
And I used to work off of Michigan and Ohio, and under my store was an abandoned bank, and it was this giant thing, dude. I'm talking just, I don't know how big. I'm not saying like a mile, but like one of those where I was like, oh, I want to shoot a movie down here. So I immediately am like, oh no, you could have said this is like some giant bank with a lot of back rooms and stuff, and had some action down there, and use that as a different kind of setting, abandoned emergency lights in this little bank, and you're fucking blocking stuff with vaults, and just, I don't know, it's just something.
And then the whole plan is like, we got to make sure this book has to be in the vault so no one else can find it. Boom. We keep coming up with better ideas for this movie.
So, but you're right to think about it. So we have our bank problem,
yeah.
And then Ellie and Beth are dealing with demons on like the 5th floor, the 10th floor, and their whole thing is trying to get down. So it's like a reverse raid.
It's like they don't know if the kids are, but then when they finally meet, it's like, oh, maybe some of them are Deadites. They fuck with them. Like, there's so much there. Instead, it's all so choreographed and like predetermined, and
it's all in the apartment, and that's I think the big issue is it's an ugly, boring apartment. And so what am I doing? You're just giving me the same movie before. Now, I wrote down, because I think we're close to it. Also, real quick, let me pitch. They would not have given the little girl the drinks. It makes no sense. The oldest would hold the drinks because that's the hardest thing. She might hold a pizza, but really just bad writing.
Yeah. She's just there for supervision. She's being supervised by the kids. She shouldn't hold anything.
And they gave her the drinks, which she never did.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's a good point. Yeah. Just the 3 pizzas are fine. I wrote down in a positive. Obviously, they bring up the book, which we can get into in a minute. The records and stuff, right? And then Ellie gets possessed. I generally think her getting possessed is the closest of anything that feels like an Evil Dead, even though if it goes a little too long and is a little more, I don't know, subdued. I just think the action of her being thrown in the elevator and kind of hearing voices and stuff, I generally think that's a good scene, and it feels most like Evil Dead. And that's one of the only ones where I'm like, this is Evil Dead, because everything else is like Dutch angled Evil Dead.
Yeah, there's brief moments like when Ellie's dead on the bed and like the neighbors are in there and like they're field of view goes off of her and she does something where I'm like, oh, that's Evil Dead. That feels like Evil Dead, because that happens in almost every movie of like the Evil Dead, like the Deadite, like looking like of like, oh, are you on to me? Do you know what's happening yet?
Army of Darkness, little old hag on the floor who opens her eyes and he goes, grab an axe, it's a trap. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's amazing. So what's your opinion on the Book of the Dead in this film, the Necronomicon? I don't think we've said that word this whole podcast.
Really? We never said the
I feel like every time maybe we did. I feel like we always called it Book of the Dead, because me saying it feels like the first time I've said it in a long time.
Necronomicon. I like the teeth being sort of the lock. I think that's kind of fun. But the fact that it has dick veins on it, I don't like. You know, it's just a little veiny. I have a weird issue, and it's such a petty issue. But the pages inside are way too artistic. They look like Vigo the Carpathian type of artwork. And again, I know that they all have cool artwork, but this is the first time where I'm like, it doesn't kind of seem like somebody scrabbled in blood and had an artistic hand. It seems like they're painted and printed in there. I probably am being picky because being an asshole. I don't hate the book. It's fine. It just doesn't have a ton of personality outside of the teeth being the lock. I think that's clever. I'll give it that.
Feels like a prop for sure. Like, I hate the teeth. I don't like that. It kind of changes. It makes mostly because it makes the book into a Harry Potter book, which I'm not super into. There's books in Harry Potter.
Dude, I don't know nothing about Harry Potter.
There's literally a book that looks almost exactly like this in Harry Potter that tries to bite people so I'm like, I don't like that, because I'm like, it reminds me of Harry Potter. I'm like, oh, it's that book from Harry Potter. Like, that's what.
That way, I guess now they're saying about the teeth kind of being like something that it bites people. Yeah, you'd probably be less likely to open something that has kind of razor sharp things that you know, kind of you have to force open.
Or you can be like Danny and prick yourself on it, have blood get on it, and then have it open on its own and be like, oh, well, that's a good sign. I should look further into this.
I believe what's his name? My blonde friend from the remake,
Eric.
Clipping out the barbed wire wrapped around the black garbage bag that says "Don't read." I believe that more than this little prissy bitch grabbing a book full of bugs, bringing it up, trying to rip it open, cutting himself, and then proceeding. I just believe it a lot less. I think this is so beyond realistic. There's any other way. Here's the weird records. Why the fuck do we need the book? The book is actually useless here. The records make far more sense to me. This actually would be the one time where I'm like, you could actually not have the book and it makes sense because there's recorded copies of somebody reading it. And your DJ ass wants to fucking wicca and raise the dead.
It would have been a clever way to like get around it of like, well, we felt that in 2023, people don't read books very much, and it's been moved more to different formats. So we figured we'd take advantage of that, but we still wanted to have an old timey feel to it. So we went vinyl. Felt it was a good compromise. And it's like, yeah, that would 100%. I believe it. Be like, yep, let's do it. Makes sense to me.
Because all the other movies had a book, this had a book, but the record really does all the work. It's like the tape. And you know, too, it's like, yes, but in the cabin, everything's there because the guy's translating it. The book here, again, just don't have it. Just have him find the records. I mean, there's be a better, they shouldn't be in a fucking bank vault anyway. That's stupid, but whatever. The bank thing is dumb anyway, but there's other ways to get these records that would make sense. There could have been some sort of occultist or some serial killer. Who knows, man? I mean, there's interesting ways we could go. So the book here just feels basically here because it's an Evil Dead movie. It's here because it knows about the movie.
You know, you brought up a good point earlier, and I think that it really hit the nail on the head of, I think Fede Alvarez he's the kind of Evil Dead fan that understands that he says it might say it's his, you know, one of his top 10 favorite horror movies, and he understands why it's so good. I think Lee Cronin he might consider it, you know, or these movies in his favorites, but it's the kind of thing where I'm like, I don't think he gets what makes Evil Dead, because it's more of, you know, good example, the Dead by Dawn that comes up later. Fede Alvarez, when he's introduced, when he has that same thing that's like, because it was scripted as Dead by Dawn and then they changed it to Dead by Day. Where it's like, because people don't say Dawn anymore. It's like, yeah, you got to make those switches, and it would have came across too like, oh, that's a reference to something.
Two on the nose.
There's none of that in here, which, yes, we can probably, we can blame the nostalgia baiting that has been going on ever since legacy sequels became a thing in 2018. I mean, they've been a thing, but that's when they were really popularized and hit the Hollywood mainstream. And then suddenly everything started to become a legacy sequel.
But I don't think it's something that Sam Raimi would demand. So it seems like something that, what's this director's name? I feel bad.
Lee Cronin.
It feels like something Lee Cronin did because he thought he was being clever, or he thought like this would be cool, a good reference. Where I remember in the theaters sighing. I remember being like, oh, you gotta be like, really, man? Really? It's so on the nose. It's so surface level. It's so Marvel, mid-credit sequence fucking teaser. I'm like, fuck off. Cause it's just there to sort of be like, remember Evil Dead 2? Because that's it. Nothing happens with it. It's just, they say it and then we go on with our lives. It's like, hey, Evil Dead 2. And I know we're skipping ahead, but it's in the same scene. They basically do, they redo the eyeball scene from Evil Dead 2.
So much worse.
Only worse. And then not too long after, we have the Dead by Dawn. So it's just like, yes, I also love Evil Dead 2. But let's take it down a notch, man. All you're telling me is like, hey, remember a better movie? It's like, I do.
I know. Well, there's a scene that I do like that we can talk about. And that is just after the elevator scene that you mentioned. There is the kitchen scene with Beth and the kids kind of discovering that Ellie is not right. And it has a shot that I know you love, a split diopter shot.
Dude, did you notice there's like 15 split diopter shots in this? It's like, I'm fucking having the time of my life. I thought of you in Mourning. I was like, oh, poor Tyler. There's just split diopter after split diopter.
They're handled fine though. They don't bug me. I don't see
they're always handled fine. Oh my God.
The split diopter shot, the ones that bug me are the ones where you can see the lens change. But nowadays, most of them are digitally done anyway. Yeah, so it's really that doesn't bug me. It's more of like I acknowledge where I'm like, there's a split diopter. Oh, there's a split diopter. It's not like a 90s split diopter though, where I'm like, oh God. Oh God.
I love him. I love him. Makes me happy. I love the old 90s. But no, this is a scene that feels Evil Dead-ish. And this is where we get that cool thing where it's like, I was so happy. I'm paraphrasing. She's like, I thought about cutting open your bodies and crawling inside. Like, that's a cool little line. That's Evil Dead-ish.
The Deadeye Ellie has some great lines in this. As much as I dislike this movie, there's some fucking fantastic lines that she says.
That's my gun, you thieving cunt.
I like open the door like you open your legs, you stinking groupie slut.
Yeah.
Oh, Ellie waits in hell for you and your unborn bastard baby.
Yes. That's the one thing that I did like about her being pregnant is that you get a lot of like really mean baby shit talk. And I think that fits. That's the cool thing. I'm like, okay, that's a different, no, not different. It's similar to the remake, but that's the kind of level of serious evil that I want. I want really mean, hateful, like fuck with you speech. Yeah. And I agree. I think Ellie and the actress does very well. My issue a lot of times comes with like her Deadite form, really for a good chunk of the movie is just zombie. Does not look like a Deadite. So it's like, I'm a little, that's the thing. It's like for everything I like, I'm like, this is an issue. But that kitchen scene where she's breaking the eggs, I think is great. I think and again, they sell it in the trailer. So I guess if you've never seen the trailer, it's a great surprise, but I think they were smart to lead with it because they knew that felt authentically Evil Dead.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely tricked a lot of people. Not me. I remember being.
I know.
I was very concerned going into this film initially, but see, I guess my glass half empty approach to things works out every now and then.
You were right. I know we talked about when the trailer came out, and you're like, "Dude, it doesn't look good. I'm worried." I'm like, "No," and I said it with fucking full confidence. I go, "Dude, they've never let us down. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay."
It's just like I've been saying ever since the beginning that Scream 7's gonna suck, and I'll eat crow if it's awesome. But you bet your ass I'm gonna bring it up every fucking moment. If it does suck, I'm gonna be like, yep, I fucking told you guys. Quit looking forward to shit. All these people who are just like, but Nev's back. Like, yeah, why the fuck does that matter? She's in all the movies except for 6.
Well, the good news is everybody else seems very confident. So if you are correct, it'll be something that'll stick out to me.
Yep, exactly. There's some stuff in this that like I don't know. There's things like I feel like, again, like I said before, it's like someone, still liked Evil Dead, but they kind of just, it's like they surface level watched it. It's like they never actually dove into what makes it what it is. And so, yeah, we have some similar beats, but like, it's just like the recipe might be there. Like all the ingredients are there, but they didn't do the right steps. The fucking oven was turned on at the wrong temp. Like things weren't added at the right time. We didn't get the right amounts. Like it's just all over.
That's why you and me have such a problem with this, though. Is if it was just a straight shit movie, it would be different. The problem is it's not an actual bad movie. No. I cannot say to you, like, take away Evil Dead, take away anything I could have, and you gave me this movie, I'd be like, oh, it's good. It's not amazing, but it's good. The problem is that it gets close on a lot of things. Like it's in the ballpark. I'm more bothered because there's ideas here I like. There's concepts. There's even parts I like that fail at the end. Like they fumble a lot. So it's frustrating because it's like, well, I don't think this nails it, but it did so well. And a lot of people, critics and fans liked it, that it makes me nervous. I'm like, holy shit, this could be the basis going forward. And I'm fucked and everybody thinks that I'm crazy because it's close enough for a lot of people. And that's kind of scary.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that we could have this just be the launching point for then other Evil Dead movies where it's just like, yep, this is what Evil Dead is now, which would be very concerning.
It's the most successful one to date, and it got great reviews. Remember, everybody, even our site, loved it.
Yep, because I remember when we did Evil Dead 2013, I looked at the tomato meter, and like the popcorn meter was like 61. Or it's like, this is 76, and like the fucking regular tomato meter 84. Like, god damn. Yeah, this movie is very, very well liked. But also, you go into it and like there's a lot of like 3 out of 5s, like 7 out of 10s, where it's like, yeah, I got a fresh, but it's not. But there's also 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5. These people are crazy.
Well, we won't get into specifics yet, but it's not fresh to me. I think that's the problem. It's like, guys, we got to hold our people up to higher standards, especially up till this point. The actors aren't bad. That's the thing. It's like a lot of this is close. That's the issue.
No,
is that it's surface level. So like it's getting things right. The whole thing was wrong. I'd be far more like, okay, well, this just sucks.
Yeah.
But again, like you said, Ellie's a decent Deadite. I think Beth's a decent character. Maybe not, the best, but fuck, it's okay. Yeah. A decent actress. There is some gore. It's not like it's completely holding back. So I'm like, God, dude.
Essentially, everything mixes until we get to the elevator again. Like it's essentially from like Ellie being possessed to the elevator, the second elevator scene. It's really just a mishmash of like random moments. So let's stay in that area for now.
Okay. So I wrote down underwhelming action because there's a bunch of parts in here, and I want to talk about each one to a degree, at least if you want to, where I'm like, in better hands, this is a moment that we talk about years down the road. The pulling out of the needle of Eric's eye. It's a small scene where he's getting stabbed, but it's so intense, and him taking it out is sort of like a punctuation of like, holy shit, like, whoa, right? Yeah. Okay, first thing, Ellie's tattoo gun to the face to Bridget. That could have been mean. It could have been fucking violent. It could have been, I've never had a tattoo, but every friend I have has. I've seen the blood. I've seen the pain. That could be a weapon where you're fucking around and really getting dirty. This scratches her face.
It's real basic. And same thing too with when Bridget swallows the glass. It's like, yeah, there's a good moment, but I feel like it's not. It's like a brief little thing, and then she swallows, and good to go. Where it's like, no, we need more. There should still be more there.
In any other Evil Dead up until this point, the chewing glass would have been, I would say, like a quarter gallon of blood just completely pouring out of the mouth as the girl's chewing, right? And then you would have had things poking out of the throat as she chews more. Then we get almost like a spout.
Yes. That's what I was going to say. There's been that moment where like she looks up and like after it's already down and then she's like, and yeah, just like sprays blood out.
Eating glass saying like, I can't wait to eat your fetus alive. You know, something like that, like something mean. Let's fucking go for it. But it's just sort of like, it pokes out of her throat. Uh-oh, that's like, oh, that's over.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess that's intense to like a 17-year-old. Sure. Fair enough. Maybe even a 20-year-old. Come on, man. Like we're a little past that point. There's parts in Ash vs. Evil Dead where like they're using meat slicers and cutting out faces and it's like spraying blood.
Yeah.
So it's like, come on, dude. The comedic show is taking a more extreme approach than this.
I remember the morgue. There's like a morgue scene in Ash vs. Evil Dead that is so insane, where it's just so much insanity going on. We're like, oh my God, how is this happening right now? But it all feels so Evil Dead, which, I mean, let's talk about the cheese grater and the fact that they totally botch that.
They sold the movie on the cheese grater. Let's say that. It was this is the moment in the movie. This is what we're going to be talking. Like they basically set the movie up for the cheese grater, and it almost seems like a gag. Do you remember us talking about where it's like, did something get cut? Did they fucking forget to add it in the movie?
I think I had trouble remembering how much they even showed from it. Cause it's like, I just was like, wait, did we see it at all? Cause it's like, yeah, it's so brief. It's literally the one shot and you
pulls it down. That's it.
It should have been, you know how like how Play-Doh is when you put it, I mean, like a cheese grater thing, like,
yeah, and it squeezes out.
That's how it should have been with the skin. Like it should have had that kind of an effect. We shouldn't have seen the aftermath of just like a streaks of blood. It's like, no, we needed to see the skin get pulled up. It's a cheese grater.
Muscle.
Yeah. Yeah, muscle.
I would like to see bone. Just gushing blood and you see like a chunk of bone. That's the movie I wanted. Not one swipe. And it really doesn't deter her at all.
No.
It just, what's quote, pitch meetings, but it's like barely an inconvenience.
Just a battle. Yeah. It's a battle wound. That's literally all it's treated as. Just a quick battle scar that then they move on from, which is disappointing. So it's like, yeah, when it's treated as such a moment, like, yeah, you want it to actually be a moment. It's just disappointing.
Well, and it's a unique moment and it's something that you could just have a lot of fun with. It could be the gross out, like, oh God, when you see Evil Dead Rise, cover your eyes at the cheese grater. And it's like, I don't know. It's just like they knew they had something and they fucked it up. Again, they fumbled. That's my problem. Like if the cheese grater wasn't in existence, I wouldn't really think of that because it's a home appliance. There's a lot of them, but like, oh, that's fun. Oh, but nothing. And another scene real quick, the people scene. An idea that sounds fun, but you literally have an entire set piece that you waste. And since we have very little Deadites and very little characters in this, the more the merrier, and we're going to waste them all to people. This movie is lacking in action. It's lacking in Deadites. It's lacking in body count. So why would you just sort of like skip past it? It's a fast forward.
Yeah, I have a theory that this scene was originally supposed to be just a oneer that then they cut into because the pacing of it just wasn't good enough. Because there's a very, like when it cuts to that peephole, there's very many like oneer qualities just in terms of things aren't quite as precise as you would expect for something where it's like, you guys don't seem like you just filmed this 4-second chunk. It seems like you filmed the whole like scene.
A cool scene.
Yeah. Where then there's like all these, I don't know, like every reveal when it actually does cut over, it just doesn't feel as impactful because of the fact that it seems like it was supposed to be done as a oneer, which I'm glad they didn't do because it wouldn't have worked as a oneer.
And you mentioned something, I think, in our old video back in the day that I came into this video thinking, which is the little girl opening the door for her mom. And you said something that's always stuck with me and it makes sense. And I'd like to kind of discuss it, how back in the other movies, you would have the moment where they look human, like, I'm all good now. I'm doing great. Open the door. But instead, she's just this rotting, scary monster. And the movie says, you know what, though she looks dangerous and scary, is proven to be violent, and the kid has seen it, she's a kid and stupid. So that's why she's going to open the door.
Which if she gets rid of that makeup, just looks normal, it's just a daughter reaching out for her mother. Instead, it's this dumb girl who is then essentially going to get others killed because she's just fucking an idiot that already saw this person kill multiple people in the hallway. And they're just going to then let them in without any change. If there was a change, then logically you would think, oh, she's logically thinking that maybe the demon is gone from her. It left. She doesn't know the logistics of a deadite. It would make sense. Instead, it just makes her so unbelievably stupid.
And then we get the cartoonish cut. The mom's hand is holding her up, like in the middle of the arrow, like with her neck. And again, I know it's supposed to be like, oh my God, but I'm like, that looks funny. That looks funny. It looks like a kid getting what they deserve. Yeah. Looks like comeuppance.
Yeah. Which sucks too, because it's like, I think that when Deadeye Ellie's looking through the people, it's like some of the most it looks like a Deadite. Eyes and like the look on her face. She has this like glee to her. It's like, that looks like a Deadite. I want more of that. Yeah. But then it's like,
and that's what they sold the trailers on, though. Again, it's like they take the most Evil Dead parts, and that's what they build it as. Because when it has that sort of warped lens look, it's the only part where like, oh, that's the Deadite of this universe. Yeah. This movie, Ellie, in that form, because it's like the eyes are contacts and weird. They're like kind of yellow. There's a certain look to her, and these Deadites. Again, I keep saying infected, but like. At least this to me I could see this being a Deadite, where most of the time in the movie they don't. You
nailed it with like the 28 days later zombie, like the infected. That's what these look like. Which also Lee Cronin, he's Irish. Maybe UK, they just like they like their undead to look a certain way.
I know the Irish have gone through a lot of problems. But for fuck's sake, like put on Astro Weeks or his band and street choir, do your job. It's disappointing because again, this is the layup. This is a guarantee to me. The remake is where like you're going to slip up and make mistakes. That's an established movie. Just pick from what you like, use that as the intensity, and put it in a high rise. Again, we have all these issues, all these dumb decisions, all these neutered and sort of truncated set pieces that you and me agree are lame. But I swear, based on the IMDb rating, the Rotten Tomatoes, which again, I know those don't mean anything to us, but they mean a lot to a lot of people, and how much it's made, I feel like a crazy man shouting from the roof saying this isn't good. And people are like, no, dude.
People like this, and I don't get it. But I think that I think it's also very clear that people aren't into the same stuff that I'm into, because there was a bunch of vitriol regarding the ending of Long Legs. So it's like, I don't care.
Yeah. And you and me are on the same page as that. So.
Yeah. It's like, this is the point where I'm just like, yeah, people are always going to bitch. If anything, just be in the position where you can have your opinion be heard. Yeah.
I mean, in the end, like I would never fight in public about this. I'm very chill. It's like, if somebody's like, I love it, I'm like, yeah, it ain't my thing, but hey, I love what you love. You know, I just paid $50 for fucking virtuosity in 4K. So it's like, I like schlock too. It's just, you know, like I said, this is a close but no cigar movie.
Let's move into the I have a fun question for you. How much do you think Ellie pays for rent for this place? It's a pretty big place, but it's also in a really shitty place, like shitty. It seems like shitty part of LA, and then also just like decrepit building.
How many rooms?
I mean,
3 rooms,
at least
3 kids.
It seems like there's probably 4, because it seems like everyone has their own room. Though this could be, I could see Ellie being her like no bedroom, sleep on the couch kind of mother.
I'm gonna say, because this has to be in the worst part of town, right? Because they make it look like, let's say 3,500.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, but that's cheap out there, right? For that many bedrooms.
What is this shithole? I hope it's like $2,000.
No, in LA, there's no way. You'd have to go to like Oakland.
Yeah, this looks like an Oakland type area.
Yeah, but if you Google it, because I was like, where's this take place? I know it's filmed in New Zealand. And they said LA. So it's like, well, LA's LA, man.
No, LA. People just say LA even counts. Like fucking Burbank and like all these, like technically Altadena is burning right now, but it's LA when you look at anything news wise.
I'm sticking with 3,500. I'll go. How about this? 3,200. That'd be nice. But there's no way they're paying fucking $2,000 out there for that.
I'll give you 2,500.
2,500.
I don't think this woman's making. Dude, she's got to make 3 times rent. You think this woman's bringing in $7,500? I don't think so.
No, I mean based on the pay in California, I don't know. I can't tell because everything looks like shit. Like, again, this looks like Rob Zombie decorated the house. I don't understand what's going on.
Exactly.
Here.
That's why.
Like, why does everything look so?
I would think that it'd be less money. She's living in a shithole.
We know the taxes, man. This ain't Chicago.
Yeah. I don't know. I hold out hope that it was cheap. If I ever get to talk to Lee Cronin, that will be my question for him. How much do you think the rent was that Ellie was paying in Evil Dead Rise? Because I almost guarantee he has some kind of idea.
We forgot to talk about that. She's getting like kicked out.
Yeah,
like that. That's like a part of it where I'm like, so I guess I don't know. It's just a lot of like kind of cheap emotions to get me like to care. One's pregnant, they're getting evicted. But the problem is, then you got to make me not hate the kids because part of me is like, I kind of want to let them live in the streets.
You see because I always saw parallels between this and it's probably because I watched them around the same time. This and Puppet Master.
I'm sorry, what?
Because it has a high rise and it has the
Puppet Master, the weird remake one?
No,
the last right?
the original Puppet Master, because of like a high rise apartment. You have like most of it is not people living there, and then there's
I guess I could see it because they had like the Bodega Bay Hotel was like it's like abandoned and they basically were like 5 people in the room.
Yeah, it's like
I guess I could see it, but again. They used the setting better though.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they actually took advantage of the setting because you could plug almost this entire script into the cabin and it'd be very, very similar.
I know it has a lot of issues, but I still want to point out once again that Poltergeist 3 did this exact same thing and as problematic as you might think that movie is, the thing it did well is use the setting. It might be a dumb movie, but it used the setting. Yeah. And so when I see something like this, I'm like, this has a decent money behind it. I know it's produced by trustworthy people. It seems like a budget cut where I'm like, I know there's not one. So what's the excuse?
Laziness.
Are they too afraid? Do you think I think they might be afraid to like really take Evil Dead a little farther. I feel like it's a high rise, but like it's kind of the cabin. They're not going to put Jason Manhattan, I guess, which, I know we always joke about, but Evil Dead is a franchise where I actively want them to go anywhere but a cabin. I have the cabin once. My favorite one is them back in fucking medieval times. So let's go anywhere. I don't give a shit. Let's go, I don't know, go to an island, go to, I don't know, Disney World. I don't care. I want to be gory, mean, and sort of, threatening.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's, I think a scene that I really like in this, at least in terms of the cinematography. And even though when I say that, that's technically not lit how I would prefer, but I like the concept and framing of it. That's when Beth is listening to the records where then it's like this, she's center framed. And then you see dead-eyed Ellie come from out of the ceiling behind her, out of focus. Like it is.
Yes.
It is a very cool, very it's a creepy, Evil Dead-y shot. Like there is a playfulness to Dead-eyed Ellie that does feel like a Deadite that I very much appreciate, but it's only in broad strokes rather than, every moment like the Fede Alvarez film where all of those they feel like Deadites all the time.
A Deadite has to do like they're smart. They think on their feet. So a scene like that, yeah, because it's like okay, cool. We know she's not going to just go and jump on her. It's going to be like you said, playful. They're going to kind of toy with their food a little, and that's something that we don't get a ton in here, which is something they do. They mess with you. They have fun. Maybe the problem really is that this movie shouldn't just have Ellie as a Deadite. The kids kind of become it later on and half-ass it, but them just having one and sticking to it doesn't work. Like in the cabin, the remake, it works because we're able to kind of pass along and then everybody has like an intense scene. Mm-hmm. Here, I wrote it down. It's 45 minutes before she even tries to stab Beth. So outside the lame beginning, that's a good chunk of the movie where it's just like supposed to be this build up. But it's like, we've been here before. Why the fuck are we building this up for 45 minutes? Like, oh, she's going to hurt somebody. It's like, yeah, she's a Deadite.
Like, yeah, it's going to happen.
Don't hide the shark in Jaws 4, show it. Yeah. So I feel like they're being a little too coy. I don't know. And maybe that works for people. But to me, it's like, it's just sort of wasting time.
When you brought up something interesting in one of the last few episodes where I think it was actually in the last one about, because Fede Alvarez used, X amount of blood on Evil Dead remake. And then because they were like, how much is that 200,000 gallon thing that Bruce says? How much of that is just like him telling stories? And ever since you said that just like kind of it's been like percolating in my head, because they really are like carnies in every like way. And I think that is even more confirmed by the fact that, you know how much blood was used on this film? 1,720 gallons of fake blood. And we have a full elevator Shining style blood reveal. And that's not even 2,000 gallons. So I'm going to go ahead and say that we've uncovered Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi may have been fibbing a bit about the numbers about the amount of blood used on the Evil Dead films.
They understand the idea of entertaining. And so, say that becomes a cool little fact. Then people are like, oh, this movie had this much blood. And then it becomes like prior to streaming, that's like the pass around the VHS, you look for the DVD at a convention kind of stuff. So it's smart. Yeah, the blood here, I'm very disappointed with the lack of it. The elevator scene's fun. It's cool. I dig it. I wrote it down as like a positive. That feels like an Evil Dead thing because it's playful and it's sort of toying with the food. Mm-hmm. It's also from The Shining. It's like, okay, well, it's not like they fucking did something super unique.
Yeah, they also did it. And it would have been before, Chucky did it after Evil Dead Rise, but the newest season of Chucky literally had an elevator blood thing where it's like, when you see that, you don't see it and go, oh, it's like Evil Dead Rise. You see it and go, oh, like The Shining.
Just go reference The Shining. And it fits here. It does. Unlike the eye scene where it pops in the guy's mouth and comes off just like some corny memberberry. I thought the elevator was fun. That's a decent one.
Makes no sense as to how Deadeye Ellie would have gotten his eye out. It's like she sucked it out. Like how that happens, where it's just like, no, you're literally just trying to do this event. Or it's like, if you're gonna have that happen, then guess what? When it goes back to Gabriel or whatever the fuck his name is, then he better have a huge chunk of his face missing, not just like a little cover up his eye. And it's like, no, for her to get back in there and get that eye, I want to see bone gone. I want to see a bunch of shit. It's like, no, sorry. This was originally going straight to streaming, so we don't get that.
Yeah, the wound wasn't gnarly enough for the eye scene, but it's there just to have a reference, like Henrietta's Pizza. It's like, I get it. It's cute. Great. But
yeah, no, guess we should, good, because we don't have many fun tidbits for this. So that is a fun little tidbit that the eyeball in the hallway, like Ellie biting the eyeball out, is actually Bruce Campbell eating an apple. He did the Foley for that.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Yeah, it's like that.
Bruce Campbell got paid to chew an apple.
Yeah, if anything, it just means he was around for the edit and they were like, hey, Bruce, can you do this? No, we can say you were involved, which I'm sure he did it around the same time he did the ADR for the line. That it comes across on he's one of the voices that is played on the vinyls, and Cronin has said that the intention of that is that it's a time displaced Ash. I was like, yeah, that makes sense with the army of like the Evil Dead that I know from all the insane extended all the games and shit. I was like, yeah, that makes sense for those. I don't dislike that.
There's an issue. Are we at the
Yeah, that's
we at the morphin part?
The part that I hate the most about this whole fucking movie. That is the thing that it took me a long time to not. That was just always the thing that I would bring up when people would bring up this movie. I'd be like, yeah, it was decent, except until that fucking ending. But what's your opinion of the I don't know, Silent Hill beast?
You know that I'm a monster guy. So I'm not going to hate this. I I liked it more the first time I saw it because I was like, oh, that's what I want. That's the weird kind of Evil Dead thing. Or this to me, I'm like, that's cool. We haven't really done that before. So yeah, let's fucking make our own monster.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is just like everything else I've said about this stupid movie, is that this time all I could see is like concept is cool. Some shots are cool. There's moments, but it is so underutilized, so underwhelming, and I feel like we get cheated from a cool monster scene. It's like, again, they ran out of money, which I know they didn't. You were close. You had an idea I liked and moments were cool, but you really just kind of held back. And it's like, fuck. So now are we ever going to do Monster again? Because maybe they're going to be like, well, we can't copy Evil Dead Rise. So the thing that I'd want put in another movie and done better, I might not ever get because this movie did it.
Yeah, and I hate the look of this thing. It looks so dumb to me. I don't know. It's just a mess of stuff that it's the execution. I don't hate the concept, the idea of this like amalgamation of the Deadites forming together. If anything, I wanted like a Voltron moment where suddenly it's like all large and looks like a legit Deadite. But we don't even get that.
It's like when the Power Rangers make their big fucking like robot thing that fights. Like it like they need to make that. And I was thinking about this while watching this. We're kind of cheated in the actual amalgamation scene. Like we see, and I wrote it down as like positive. I like the idea of seeing them putting like the hands in the body, but they're so delicate about showing it that I'm like, that could have actually been a really cool part. Like a lot of cool practical and touch up with the digital effects of like it becoming one. And then maybe jumping at the screen for like a bah, and all of a sudden we hard cut.
That's our assembly scene that we don't get in this film. You flip the script and the fucking Deadite is doing it, and instead it's like it's prepping and putting all of its fucking ridiculous pieces together.
Zooming in, snapping, and having like and all of a sudden it's almost like the substance, like making that kind of creature in these little moments. That's a good fucking call, dude. Exactly. Flip the script, dude.
God damn it.
Brilliant.
Keep coming up with so many better ways to do this fucking movie. It's upsetting. But I mean, there's some, like, I like that they hint at things a little more, and I love the look. I love anyone with like blood all over them. And I do.
Oh, like they went swimming in blood. Yes.
Which then little Nell Fisher is a blonde, so I think that look is fucking awesome. The blonde hair with blood in it, just always been just such a cool look. There's Azrael with Samara Weaving does a similar thing, and I think it's very cool, and they do a good job with like, as much as we bitch about some of the cinematography in this, I don't mind the cinematography in the final scene because it makes sense for a parking garage to look like this.
Yeah, it's fine. I wish it was a little more interesting in terms of dynamics, but you're right though. It's flickering lights, it's cement, it's wet. I'm fine. I mean, this was
Beth running, and it has like it has the camera like attached to her.
Yeah,
so
it's
like
the belt camera from, well, I don't know if it's from, but I was thinking of Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah.
That kind of vibe. I mean, this was the part that when we originally talked was my favorite part of the movie. And I guess it probably still is. I like it less, but it's at least moving and trying to do something. And there's action, and it just feels a little more Evil Dead. Though her little ending line, I think, is cringy and does not fit.
Only my sister gets to call me that.
It doesn't work because it's like, oh wait, you mean your sister that we've already established from this great line where it's Beth's like, you should have called me, I would have got the first flight back, and Ellie's like, I did call you twice. Once when you told me he was going to leave, and once on the night that he left. That was 2.5 months ago. Where it's like, that shows right there where it's like, yeah, you clearly don't give that much of a shit about your sister, so this line just doesn't hit.
The Deadite uses that to fuck with her later on. Remember, she's in the bed, it like automatically goes on her phone, and it's guilt tripping her. So yeah, like we've established this. So it's like, you're not my sister. I guess not. No, she's not. Yeah. So what about it?
I think that's what bugged me. I kept waiting. So I remember I remember the CGI bugging me, where then I was shocked at how well done so much of the stuff leading up to that was, because they shoot around. It's like they do practical things. And then, but yeah, I think the actual death is where they completely shit the bed and do way too much CGI, which I get it. How are you going to do that? But there's a way. I know I've watched movies that they do some crazy shit and it's all practical. So it could have been done.
It doesn't look like she's there. That's the problem. Like they could have just put her into like an empty container, had it shake a little, have a little smoke come out, and then add in the blades. Yeah. But it seems like she was in a room of green screen and they just sort of rotoscoped her head out. I mean, it has that vibe. And maybe it's not. But then here's the thing. Maybe they did it practical, but like the eyes, if you fucking touch it too much with computers, and I'm thinking it's CGI, then you failed already. I don't want to hear that it was practical. It's like the Thing remake, where it's like, like it was practical, then they basically painted over. It's like, yeah, if you're doing that with anything else, then I don't feel bad. I get to criticize you and call it CGI, even if it's not, because you made it look worse.
Yep. Those Daniel Craig Bond movies, they would do so many things practical, but then they do these CGI enhancements where it was like, what was the point of doing that practically? You guys made it look CGI now.
It looks worse.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, so what do you think? What do you think of the bookends ending?
I originally really liked it because I was like, oh, it's kind of clever. Like it leaves and gets to be passed on somewhere else. I thought that was a fun idea. But then logically, because I'm already upset about this movie, I'm thinking it took a day. It took a whole day. Like now we're really messing with the time frame. Like a deadite doesn't like hang out like you're infected. It would have fucking been killing people on the ride there. So it's just like, yeah, it's fine. But then again, it leads into a lame beginning. So conceptually, I like it. I like that it escapes and is now out in the world. Yeah. But then I know it's just a lame fucking bunch of teenagers hanging out. So it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
It chilled out for a day before it possessed the girl. So that's stupid.
I just think it took way too long. Like I think that the audience is savvy to the point much faster than what it actually, like you just didn't need a lot of what they showed. You could have literally done, she's in the car, she looks up and sees something's going on, and then it's turn off the car, open the door, cut to black. But instead it's like, we got to be handheld and like, where it's like, oh, we actually have to see the demon come up, like the first person's perspective, where it's like then I'm just waiting the whole time because it's like, I already know I understand who this girl is. I'm a savvy movie watcher, and apparently you guys are expecting everyone to be dumbasses that are watching this, so you have to handhold them so much. But that bugged me this time. I couldn't believe how long and it's only probably 2 minutes, I want to say.
Yeah, but we don't two minutes to tell you that the girl's gonna go to the cabin.
Okay, 2 minutes it's like that we already know this girl is possessed from the beginning. Where it's like, okay, then we don't need to waste that much time. Whatever.
Cool concept, but execution
also not very Evil Dead. Like doesn't like the idea of it. The bookending element doesn't feel very Evil Dead, and I get that you need to do new things
But I think it could have felt Evil Dead with a better director. The problem is that the Deadites never felt like Deadites, and it's like the concept alone. I don't hate. I actually like, but again, like anything else, it didn't really nail it. So it's like, yeah, it feels clumsy. Everything feels awkward here, and it sucks because it's close. And again, I couldn't make a movie this good. Let me be very clear. It's like if I made this, I'd sit there and fucking brag about it for the rest of my life that I made like a great looking, cool movie. But I'm not going to, this isn't Friday the 13th where I'm going to allow for mediocrity. I'm sorry, this is Evil Dead. So there's a standard. And guess what? They've kept it. Now, I'm hoping this is just a bad album. And I'm hoping my band gets back on track. Maybe they fucking tried some things, didn't really dig it, and they might play a fucking clip or two in their tour, but they got to kind of readjust. I'm really hoping, but it seems like this is the one that's going to make him a stadium band, and that makes me scared.
Yeah, the two directors that have been hired, I like both of them, but they're two serious directors. They're not comedy guys. So it makes me wonder, it's like, oh, so we're probably going to be leaning further in the direction of depraved and fucked up, and which, I mean, you can do it. There's a way to do it and still keep it Evil Dead, but it makes me concerned, mostly because I know that they get like that at this point, Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, and I'll include Rob Tappert in that as well, they're very hands off with the Evil Dead franchise. They'll make suggestions, but they may be more stringent in their hiring process. It may take a lot to prove it to them, but once someone proves to them that they can make an Evil Dead, then they just let them do what they need to do. And so because of that hands-off approach, I'm like, I hope that they're the right fan. I hope that these new guys are more Fede Alvarez and less Lee Cronin. Who knows?
I hope so, but I'm willing at this point to say the Evil Dead ended in 2013. I hope I'm wrong, but you and me also know that, things don't go on forever. And this isn't the franchise that I need a bunch of weird, dumb sequels that I could eventually be like, well, I didn't love it, but Evil Dead's too personal to me. So I'm actually more okay with it ending. If they want to continue on, awesome. I will definitely check it out for a while, but I'm definitely willing to stop. If the next one doesn't kick ass, I might be good. Yeah. And I know a lot of horror fans are not like that, and God bless, enjoy yourself. But I don't need to have more bad than good. There's enough franchises that eventually happens to. I kind of want to keep this fresh. So the next one's going to be the make or break for me personally. Yeah,
you made me realize that I am I need to finish off a series kind of person. Like if it's out there, then I at least need to watch it, or see what I either missed out on or didn't miss out on.
No, a lot of people like that. You once told me you're a completist.
Yeah,
and that says a lot. So it's like, yeah, I get it, man. I get it. I'm crazy, but I'm willing to fucking burn it down, dude.
I own all the Terminator movies, so that says it right there.
You're out of your mind, buddy.
All right. Well, I think we've pretty much covered this one. What would you rate Evil Dead Rise? Wait, before you rate it, what would you rate it as a normal? What would you rate it as a normal movie? And what would you rate it as an Evil Dead movie? Two separate things.
It's hard. I have a hard time because I don't know if I could really separate. Like I would say out of 4 stars and a different timeline where Evil Dead never existed, this could be a 3-star movie.
Possession story. Yep, just wacky possession. Yeah.
This I don't know, because here's the thing, man. Realistically, it's a 2. It's a 2. But I'm also kind of angry and I'm annoyed, and I really don't. I feel like I'm compensating just because it's not a terrible movie, but like as an Evil Dead movie, it's a 1-star movie. So I don't know if I'm going to do 1 or 2 stars. I have a hard time because it's not a 1-star movie, but it's a 1-star Evil Dead movie. But it's really a 2-star movie if I'm adding in the movie itself and being Evil Dead, because it's competent. It isn't bad directed. It's decent acted. The effects aren't terrible. There's moments that I liked. It's like a personal connection. So I'm more insulted than I would normally be if it was a different franchise. So I'm going to say 2 because I'm not going to be that big of a prick.
I am going to be that big of a prick, and I'm going to say 1.5 stars because as an Evil Dead movie, this really pisses me off. And you've heard, if you've listened to our prior episodes, you've heard us say 4 out of 4, 10 out of 4, 100 out of 4. Like, we love these movies. So the fact that if they got it so if this was Halloween Ends, that would be one thing of where it's just like things are just so wrong. I would just be like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna make a fun video essay on that. But this one, it just makes me sad. Makes me sad about the state of Evil Dead, and like I hope we're in this weird area of unknown because we just like don't know what the future of Evil Dead is. It's like I hope that then this isn't the beginning of this. Like, no, I wanted more evil. Like I had such hope. I've had such hope for the last decade because of Evil Dead 2013, and then it's like a decade of all this, just like again, then Ash vs. Evil Dead. So again, just hope after hope after hope, and then this kind of dashed it a bit. And then also too, we haven't even mentioned the fact that this was an HBO Max streaming only release initially, and then test screenings were so good. They were so good that Warner went, no. We can't not release this in theaters. And it's like, what? This is a streaming release in every way. This feels like a streaming movie.
To you and me, but most other people, dude, we are on the far side of the popular opinion. I mean, it's one of those where
it's upsetting.
A lot of times I know that like I'm off, or I'm like, I like weird things, or I like something that's like kind of dumb. I kind of get when I'm wrong, or at least when like I'm not of the popular opinion. This is a time where I think you and me are 100% correct, and not even egotistical. Just like I feel objectively I'm correct with Mr. Tyler Nichols, and the entire world sees different. So it's a weird feeling to be this polarized on a franchise that has meant so much to me. Every band makes a shitty album, and so I should have expected it, but I just thought I had more time.
Yeah, fucking Fede Alvarez. He really, he really, what was it? He really honey-dicked us.
Yeah, he heightened expectations to a level that I took for granted. I'm like, oh, that's the vibe we're getting. I'm like, oh, I
remember, there was this period of time after 2013 came out, because it was such a success, where then it was, we are doing Evil Dead. It was like, what do they call it? They call it Evil Dead. They're doing a Evil Dead sequel, like to 2013. And then they're doing Army of Darkness 2. And then Mia, I think it's Mia. I can't remember now. That she would then team up with Ash in another film. And then it just like, then
it's because Sam Raimi fucking talks his mouth off. You said it earlier. He's a carny. I love the guy, but there's a lot of times he'll come out and say something super cool. It's like, dude, but you don't do anything. You never follow through.
Let's think about this though. Because they've, instead of doing that, they've made Ash versus Evil Dead TV show, which we know famously could not use like any Army of Darkness stuff. So how much do we think that like it was they looked into doing Army of Darkness 2, had such rights issues that then they're like, let's just do the TV. Let's see if we can do a TV show instead. And then.
So I believe you, except for once the TV show canceled, Sam Raimi came around saying, I have the script that's like the 2 Army Darknesses, but Bruce won't do it. I'm like, fuck you. Don't come out and say that. Bruce is retired. He says, I'm never doing it again. And Sam's like, I got this great script, guys. Too bad you're never going to see it. I don't know. Man.
Yeah.
The best I could hope for is that Bruce said he would be down for like animation. And I would be more than okay if they made some animated Evil Dead films via, the Batman ones that DC does.
Give me a video game. Like we've seen it with.
Well, sure, but I'd like some story. The video game. How about this? More video games and a cartoon.
That'd be cool.
Give me both.
But with a video game, we get so many one-liners. We get so many like little interactions that we then wouldn't get in like animated form. Where then I don't know. I'm very much leaning towards that.
You're not wrong, but we've had video games, so I feel that worst case, I still have all the ones for PS2 and the Dreamcast. I haven't had a cartoon yet, so I would like some cool R-rated cartoon.
Yeah,
I would like more video games. I mean, honestly, if Bruce is all about the character, just doesn't want to physically do it, and I get he's old.
Yeah.
Then let's not wait. Let's get on it. Like our fan base. Could you ask for a better fan base? We buy all these stupid DVD and Blu-rays, triple dipping. It's like, yeah, we're the ones that spend money. Obviously, we don't really pay for stars, hence the cancellation of the show. But everything else we seem to pay for. So do it, man.
Hey, don't lump you and I into that. You and I paid for stars specifically to get to Ash versus Evil Dead because we loved it that much.
But other people didn't, and that's why I got canceled because of the piracy. But either way, this isn't the comeback I wanted. And as of now, as of this recording, I am nervous for the next entry. As am I, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see how it goes, and it starts filming very, very soon. Evil Dead Burn films very soon, and then the next one is supposed to film later this year. So
if there's one positive, it's that we will get 2 Evil Dead movies pretty quickly, like I assume within a year of each other. So I like that element.
Yeah, but if they're both bad, that's like a gut punch and an uppercut.
You
man.
heard how I said that. There's still plenty of trepidation.
No, I need more trepidation voice. Redo it. I want another take.
Yeah. Well, I think we've covered the Evil Dead franchise. We next one we were going to do the our ranking episode, but let us know in comments either on Instagram or Spotify, wherever, or email us at needlesslynostalgic@gmail.com. Let us know if you want us to do Ash versus Evil Dead. Curious if there's interest in that, because it's the kind of thing that Lance and I would really have to kind of figure out and work. Because it's the kind of thing that's like we literally could go individual episodes because we love it that much. But then there could be times where it's like, wow, we can combine these two, or do we just do the first season as one, or season it split into two-parter and do that for each season? Like there's so many options. So let us know if that would even interest you, because we wouldn't even want to do it if it wouldn't be something that would be of interest. And yeah, also make sure to check out our Army of Darkness commentary on the Patreon. We also had a monthly roundup where we went over some of our end of the year watches. And then we also had a bonus episode, which was the best of the year, our favorite films of 2024. You can check that out. And thank you guys so much for listening to this one. We will see you next week for our Evil Dead franchise ranking episode. As I said, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you on the next one. Goodbye.